Good evening, folks. Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to give a quick update on the Detective Sergeant Gualdino case. And also, I want to talk about the fentanyl crisis. Join me.
Freddie wins.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
You're watching Basement Politics with my dad, Freddie Vasquez.
Freddie wins. Fatality.
Good evening, folks. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Tonight, I want to give some more updates on the Detective Sergeant Frank Gualdino case. The Yonkers Sergeant, Traffic Unit Sergeant, who was killed in a traffic incident involving an unlicensed driver. Also, I want to talk about the fentanyl crisis here in the country, but also specifically here in Yonkers. A lot of overdoses. Join me. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Good evening, folks. Happy Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Is it Wednesday? Happy Wednesday. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I want to talk about Frank Gualdino. Just give a quick updates on that. I won't spend a whole lot of time on there. What's going on, my brother? How you doing, Romario? Thank you for tuning in. I want to talk about some information here. I'm not going to give the name of the kid. Listen. But I will discuss or talk about who the owner is, who's the individual that's being sued, the two individuals that are being sued by the family here. It isn't, there is a lawsuit going on there. But I want to show for people who may not have, seen this. I want to show the video here of the incident. This is from a dash cam, and this is on Tuckahoe Road going east, I believe. Is it east on Tuckahoe? So right there, you see the blue BMW, and pardon me if it gets dark. He comes from the right lane. I guess he was attempting to go over into the left lane to avoid that car in front of him in the right, and that's where he lost control. Those cars are very powerful. I know about, the type of performance, capabilities that those cars have. That's a souped up car. It's factory. It comes like that from BMW, but it is a more expensive version because it is more equipped for speed. So you can easily lose control in these type of cars with the torque if you're not very familiar with handling them. And that's where he goes, first crashing into the sergeant's vehicle there. He was in an unmarked cruiser, and then he would hit the bus that you saw there. Well, unfortunately, that's what happened there. It took the life of, one of Yonkers' finest. And a lot of people have been upset because there's been very little information. A lot of people are blaming the administration. They're saying that, the Spanos are covering this up. But I believe that, and correct me if I'm wrong, it's up to the Westchester County District Attorney to bring up charges on anyone if they're going to bring up any charges on someone, right? At this point, it would be in the DA's hands. So is that correct? Is it the DA not bringing up charges? I mean, they have the information there. They know what happened as well. This is the lawsuit here. It's actually been moved up to Putnam County. I would imagine they don't feel they can get a fair shake here in Westchester because it being a Yonkers police officer here in Westchester. But the people that are being sued, they're being sued by the officer's wife and his estate, Lisa Gualdino, and the estate of Frank Gualdino. And he was, 9 months away from retiring, which makes it very sad. It's very sad. And he was a traffic officer. He was the supervisor in the traffic unit. This is what he, was there to do, to prevent this from happening, this type of situation. Finding guys who are speeding and driving recklessly like this, especially, on city roads here. And from information that I received around the time when it first happened, the car, and I think somebody may have commented as well, the car had been seen driving recklessly, in the days prior. So, it wasn't just this one-time thing, I messed up. This is something that the individual was, into. and he had an Instagram page, and he showed off his car and he flaunted it. His license plate said M5 Jet. So he was very aware of the speed and the power that this car possessed. I mean, he boasted about it on his plate, right? So I mean, this isn't some just innocent thing that innocent, young 16. Yes, kids are stupid. 16-year-olds are stupid, but someone has to be held accountable, right? And in a lawsuit, as that, it's holding them accountable in civil court. But when you have money, what does it matter, right? What does it matter? You give up money, you got money. You got, because I hear that the family has money. They're well off. I've been doing my research. I believe that the family's involved in maybe smoke shop businesses. I also hear there's a connection to the school there on Walnut and Yonkers Avenue. Real estate also maybe here in New York and also Connecticut. So they have money. So paying a lawsuit when you have money it's like, oh, I made a mistake. All right, I got to pay. I'll make it back and I'll keep it moving. But the family of Sergeant Frank Gualdino can't keep it moving anymore the same. That's for sure. I lost my sister. 6 months later, I lost my dad, and I've never been the same since. I can't imagine anyone who's lost someone or people that they love very much are ever the same, right? And so the individual's hurt. He was hurt, but I hear that he may have gone to rehab, so he may be getting better. And people do recover from this stuff, and they go on and they live, productive lives. Meanwhile, family is shattered and destroyed forever, right? Forever. You have to think about the kids that will not have their father there for some certain important moments and milestones in their lives, right? These are things that I think about. And it makes me emotional thinking about it because I know my sister won't be there for certain milestones, in my life and in my kid's life. So just thinking about that, my eyes get watery. So, there's a lawsuit. And again, that's some responsibility, right? Holding them accountable in some form. But it just doesn't, for me, it doesn't send a positive message if we don't, have some legal consequences. This has to stop, right? It can't just be like, well, if you have the money, you pay the money, you keep it moving, right? No, it's like, listen, whether you have the money or not, you don't want to end up in jail, right? You don't want to end up in jail. And so the individuals that are being sued are Hussein Motion Mahdi and Motion H. Mahdi. I'm not sure if there may be two people. I believe it is two, a woman and a man. I believe it's said a female. I'm not sure. I could be wrong. But they're being sued basically for causing the death of Sergeant Frank Gualdino. Maintained a certain automobile bearing license plate number M5 Jet. On or about December 1st, 2022, defendant Hussein Mahdi Motion owned a certain automobile bearing license plate number M5 Jet for the state of New York that at all times hereinafter mentioned on or about December 1st, 2022, defendant owned a certain vehicle, yes, with M5 Jet. It was registered to him, so he's being sued. He was the lessee of a certain automobile. He was the owner. He paid the bills for that. Frank Gualdino was the operator of a Yonkers City Police Department motor vehicle, lawfully traveling on Tuckahoe Road, approximately 300 feet east of Grassy Spring Road, within the county of Westchester. That on that day, the motor vehicle operated by the defendant. But Hussein Mahdi, maybe that's the name of the guy there, the son. I didn't mean to put that out there. But this is public records. But I was alerted to this very early on, not too long after it happened. Great sources that are out there and who have remained anonymous and told me exactly this information here, the address and the names. And I actually went by there and I matched the scene there in front of the house to a photo that was taken of the boy and in the car. I matched it up right there where he took the photo, and so I knew that I had the right person. The young man was a part of a local racing circuit whom Yonkers-ites are constantly complaining about. Okay. is that going on over here on Central Avenue, because it truly is annoying. Nothing would send a message of zero tolerance like holding this young man criminally responsible in the juvenile delinquent system. And that's a great point. That's a great point, right? At the very least, if no one's getting hurt, which obviously we have a death here, at the very least, it's a nuisance. It causes noise pollution. I hear it here off Central Avenue at night, and I mean I hear it at 12, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Cars burning out, doing donuts, speeding off, and I oftentimes will hear police cars coming, and then you can hear them taking off. So it's a game of cat and mouse with them. They know they have these souped up cars. So and listen, I like fast cars. I don't want to be the party pooper here, but we have to do it responsibly. There's a time and a place, and it's a way to do it. It's a way to do it. And me, I like to go out early in the morning. Not a lot of cars, not a lot of traffic. And I'm not doing donuts and I'm not doing burnouts. I'm not doing these crazy things. I may push it a little bit. You like to, really feel that thing, but, so I get it, but not on Tuckahoe Road, not when it's crowded, right? Not on a busy, street like that, on a day where you're going to have, or a time when you're going to have a lot of traffic, day and time when you have a lot of traffic there. I mean, there's kids that are coming off or getting out of Roosevelt there, right? They get on those buses that the Beeline buses that was also involved there, right? Fortunately, this was, I believe, later on in the day. So the kids, for the most part, already had gone home. But there are also people walking there as well. Actually, one time there was a guy walking. I felt bad. This guy was disabled, barely walking, pushing a shopping cart full of cans and bottles. So I made a U-turn. I pulled over. I asked him if he wanted to ride. I loaded up all his cans and bottles into the back of. Fortunately, I had my wife's SUV at that time when I was driving, and I drove him to the Tuckahoe ShopRite. It's where he can go and collect his cans. I just felt bad. I mean, so imagine that man had been there and the car had went into the sidewalk, right? So we have to be careful, right? We have to truly be careful. So I just wanted to update on that information, put that out there. A lot of people have been wanting to know what's the deal here. And again, it's up, and Anthony, correct me if I'm wrong, but is it not up to the DA, the Westchester County DA, to bring up charges if there are going to be any charges? Right now, it's in the hands of the DA. So I don't know. It's what's going on there with Mimi Roca. I mean, there's some other individuals that are being investigated more thoroughly and harder than than this individual here, and they did nothing compared to no one died there, no one was hurt. Right, nothing at all to that effect, and so that's a little disappointing. That's what I'm saying. DA, it's a little disappointing. When the innocent people don't get the justice, right? We don't get the attention. Anyway, that's what it is right there. If you have any questions on that, right? What do you guys think? Do you think that there should be some criminal charges? There should be some legal ramifications, or should we just keep it moving? Right? Should we just keep it moving? The kids driving was dangerous in the extreme, but the conditions on the road today are such that if you drive a few blocks for coffee in the morning, you have to hold your breath and hope you arrive safely. COVID has made road rage and insane driving so much worse. Well, road rage, at least in Florida, road rage was pretty bad in Florida. I mean, there were instances of people literally killing other people, getting out of their car and shooting a person. And we're talking in the early 2000s. But what can make it dangerous, and I'm glad that they're actually fixing this up, is the potholes, right? And I've had to dodge potholes and which caused me to go into another lane, almost hitting another car. So, and then you have to make that decision, do I almost hit a car in the next lane, or do I just hit the pothole and destroy my wheel and my axle and my alignment and every other thing, right? So we have to make those decisions on a regular, right? But they've been patching a lot of them up. They've been resurfacing a lot of the roads, especially on Central Avenue. I've seen that a lot of roads actually have gotten fixed up lately, but there's still some that are very much in need, especially right there at the intersection of South Broadway and Nepperhan, right in front of City Hall. I mean, you guys got to feel that when you make that U-turn there, when you're leaving City Hall, right? Or maybe you don't care because it's a city vehicle, doesn't bother you, right? But we don't drive city vehicles. We have our own vehicles that we pay for. And if you drive across that intersection there, you may feel like you're going to take off. The car's going to fly. Just boom, 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 boom. It's so rough there. And Sawmill River Road over there, just before Ashburton, in between Ashburton and Palmer, Con Edison left it a mess, and they have not done anything to fix it. And it's probably been like that for a year. And so now what people are doing is they're driving on the oncoming lane to avoid these dips that they have and these not even potholes. They're like dips and bumps that they left there when they didn't resurface properly. So, that's not okay. Well, folks, I want to move on to fentanyl. Fentanyl is a big issue. Fentanyl is a problem. Fentanyl is creating causing a lot of overdoses all over the country. It's affecting us here in city of Yonkers. Recently, there was an overdose of a young man found dead in his home. I'm going to talk about that. I didn't like the way that this guy, and I'm not trying to talk bad about the guy. It's not even about that. Listen, I have a personal connection to this. And so, I know how upset I would be if someone showed up to my home, to report to the public that my family member just died of an overdose. I mean, literally in front of my house, I would be upset. I mean, it's okay. We must talk about it, right? We have to talk about it, but we don't have to put people on blast and their home on blast, their neighbors, their friends, their colleagues, strangers. It's not okay. Juvenile delinquency is actually prosecuted through the family court, but the DA could certainly weigh in with her opinion on the matter via social media. She often opines publicly about high profile political headlines that have little of nothing to do with her job as Westchester DA. And you're probably referring to that attempt to prosecute or indict Donald Trump on some charges, which failed. Mimi wrote, what are you worrying about Donald Trump? Right? That's so crazy when the people of Westchester and city of Yonkers need you. Right, need you. So fentanyl again, it's having a huge impact here in the city. People are dying, being found dead. Officers are also in jeopardy of being of accidentally coming into contact with it, and overdose. They can overdose just by touching this stuff. It's very dangerous. It's very potent. Wow. That's incredible. And so, this is very similar to, and I don't know, depending how old you are, to the crack epidemic that hit hard, especially here in New York City, but a lot of places in the country. Families were destroyed, moms and dads were out in the street, children were being left alone. Some children were even being sold. That's how desperate the people were to get money to buy crack. But what crack did not do is cause people to overdose at the rate that we see fentanyl causing people to overdose, right? I'm sure that a lot of people probably wish they would have died. Fortunately, thank God if they didn't, if they made it through. Because I know a lot of people that were addicted to crack who, got a lot better. Through God, a lot of them through God. I've seen it through God. They got better and their lives have turned around. But this fentanyl stuff, this is crazy. People are dying. People are destroying their bodies, barely recovering if they're able to recover. And now with social media, people are being put on blast. Right? You see this family here, this poor child, 4 years old, on blast. But it's a very real epidemic. And officers, again, have to be very careful. Police officers who come into contact with this stuff because they can, by simply touching it, overdose. That's right. By simply touching this stuff, they can overdose. And the problem nowadays is that you don't know what has fentanyl in it. They've even found fentanyl in marijuana, which is very dangerous and scary. So I want to show you this video of an officer touching fentanyl accidentally. Narcan. Narcan. It's the medication that many people, first responders, are carrying in the event that someone overdoses, but not just first responders. Very recently, our Yonkers Public Schools administrators were trained on how to use Narcan. And I asked my wife if it was okay. I talked about this, and I didn't think it was a big deal because I think it's a good thing. I think it's a great thing that the Yonkers Public Schools are training their staff. And not because we have a fentanyl problem within the schools, but because you don't know what's laced with fentanyl nowadays. And some high school students may want to go get some weed. God forbid, that could be laced with fentanyl, smoke it before school, go to school, and they can overdose, right? And so they need to be trained. Or a teacher can find something in a bag, right? Student didn't realize what it was, touch it, and they can overdose. So it's great that they're being trained and that they have the Narcan available, because that is truly the difference between life and death. Oh, no sound on the video. Oh, well, I'm sorry. Just if you saw the officer there down, I'm not sure why I don't have sound on the video. Did I have sound on the first one? All right. So Anthony Moranti here was recently on Yonkers Voice, and I want to just play this part of what he said. By the way, Anthony Moranti, it's been 2 days that he's been on the Yonkers Voice, and he only got 195 views. Within, 12 hours, we were up to, 600 views, Anthony, on Basement Politics, and I got a lot less followers. A lot less followers. I'm just saying. I'm just saying for you guys who want to come on Basement Politics, because you will be seen. All right, make sure you check me out. Let me know if you can't hear this. I need you to hear this. Otherwise, it's pointless. So he brings up the overdose problem here in the city of Yonkers. He says the other day, a young man overdosed, and he's referring to the person that overdosed, was found dead in their home in a suburban community, quiet community here in Yonkers. It knows no color lines, no economic class. Doesn't matter your religion, your gender. It affects everyone. Doesn't matter what district you live in. It affects everyone here in the city of Yonkers. People have been found overdosed all over Yonkers, not just on the south side, not just on the southwest, not just in Getty Square, all over Yonkers. It's impacting everybody, and many families are less suffering. See, it doesn't just kill the person, it kills an entire family. So it's a very tragic thing. And so my heart goes out to all those who have suffered from that. To lose somebody unexpectedly, right? They're not supposed to die at that age is hard. It's very tough. And so I can, feel the pain of the family, of the Gualdino family, of CJ's family. I can't all the way imagine their pain, but I know that pain. CJ's case needs to go to a jury if there's any chance of a fair outcome. That's another case that we have to keep out there so CJ's family can get the justice that they deserve. CJ Hackett was killed by a drunk driver, a city employee who, for whatever reason, was not arrested up until how many hours? 20-something hours, 30-something hours later in City Hall while working. For some reason, there weren't enough cameras that picked him up or picked up his vehicles. And so a lot of people are frustrated with that, especially the parents. Very upset. And that's very traumatic. Fentanyl. What is fentanyl? Fentanyl is a highly potent synthetic piperidine opioid drug primarily used as an and it was freaking anesthesia. And it said, I pronounced that word for me, somebody, ANA, and I can't say it, because fentanyl is 50 to 100 times more potent than morphine. Its primary clinical utility is in pain management for cancer patients and those recovering from painful surgery. So many people have become addicted to this, and this is what happened to my sister. In the hospitals, they get an injury, they're prescribed this strong, powerful medication that they've never been on before. They've never taken the drug in their life. And now here you are in the hospital for a month, 2 months, being pumped full of pain pills. And what happens is that people then can't get the pain pills. They go to heroin or they get fentanyl because it's cheaper. It's more readily available. And then also there's the fake pills that are fentanyl. And that's what happens. People don't know. They don't realize what's happening, or they don't, realize that they're becoming addicted by taking this medication for their pain. They innocently were prescribed it. They innocently took it, and they say, well, if you take it the way it's prescribed, then you shouldn't have a problem. But we know that that's not the case. Right. And many people have become addicted. And so basically, doctors have become legal drug dealers of some of the most potent drugs around. And we've seen doctors here in the city of Yonkers go to jail for distributing it illegally, for trips, for golf outings, for, Puerto Rico trips, money, favors, and they destroy lives forever. And they go to jail for maybe a year. Maybe pay a fine. But it's okay because they got money. Doesn't matter. And they'll go on with their lives. But the families who've lost a loved one will never go on with theirs the same. Right? It's not fair. It's just not fair. But what's even more scary is that a lot more young people are becoming addicted and are overdosing from fentanyl. This is very scary, parents. As more teens overdose on fentanyl, schools face a drug crisis unlike any other. Before the overdose, Griffin Hoffman was a sophomore about to lead his Portland, Oregon high school's tennis team. Sienna Vaughn was a junior in Plano, Texas, who participated in Girl Scouts and cheerleading. Laird Ramirez was a 17-year-old living near Charlotte and competing on his high school's wrestling team. He was rarely seen without his skateboard. The teens thought they were taking prescription pills for pain and relaxation, drugs like Valium or Percocet that they bought from friends or from social media. But the pills they took were counterfeits. They hadn't come from a pharmacy, and it turned out that they contained fentanyl, a potent, often deadly synthetic opioid. Just 2 milligrams can kill. Doesn't take much. Doesn't take much. And teens have been affected here in the city of Yonkers. And a young girl, or the mother of a young girl here in the city of Yonkers who was given a pill, had never taken drugs before in her life, but was influenced once, and it only takes one time. Was influenced once to take what she thought was a Percocet or a pain pill, but ended up being a counterfeit. And it was fentanyl. Olivia Green. So this woman was invited, the mother was invited to speak with Jada Pickett and her daughter to talk about the fentanyl crisis and her daughter who had passed away. Gone forever. Yonkers' mom recounts teens overdose on Red Table Talk. This is tragic. A mother from Westchester County is opening up about losing her teenage daughter to an accidental fentanyl overdose. And it's good that she spoke about it, because we need to bring awareness. People need to know it can happen to anyone. It only takes one time. It doesn't matter if your kids are not hanging out with bad kids or you're not from a bad neighborhood or a bad community. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if they're white, black, or Hispanic. Doesn't matter. This stuff is taking over. And it's killing people, and it's killing more and more young people. And we must bring awareness to it. And I'm, very grateful for her mom, who has been working very hard to bring awareness of this epidemic to a lot of people. She's on Instagram a lot. She's very vocal about it. So I want to commend her, because a lot of families don't want to talk about it. They don't want to discuss this. They feel shame. Parents feel guilt. I felt guilt. But it's not our fault. It's not the parents' fault. It's we tell our kids, or we're there for our loved ones, and it just takes one time. One mistake, one bad, decision, not realizing the implications of it. And so it's tragic for me. It affects me deeply. Dispeña, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong, Prodromitis of Yonkers recently sat down with actress Jada Pinkett Smith on her streaming show Red Table Talk for an episode centered around the national fentanyl epidemic. Through the tears, she recounted the unimaginable moment on Easter 2021 when doctors informed her that her 15-year-old daughter, Olivia Green, had died after taking a counterfeit Percocet. I stopped by where they lived. I left a candle there just because I had heard about it, and it just, I was connected to it. She says, I was like, is Olivia okay? And they put their heads down, she says in the clip, and they shook their heads and said, we're sorry, we tried everything. She told the panel she had never heard the word fentanyl before. So this is why it's important to bring awareness to this. Many people don't know. Many parents don't know. And I think now more and more are learning about this, but I didn't know. I didn't know about this. I didn't know that my sister was dealing with this. And, we don't know until it's too late sometimes. Right. So, my heart goes out to her. I pray for her, I pray for everyone, and just be aware. This is a problem here in Yonkers. You can see it on the Yonkers Voice page, triple overdose at 2020 Yonkers Avenue. One is fatal. Man overdose on fentanyl over here at the gas station on, Palisades or Elm Street and School Street at the gas station, right? In New Rochelle, 3 dead in apparent overdose case. It's everywhere. And where is it coming from? Well, currently, China remains the primary source of fentanyl and fentanyl-related substances trafficked through international mail and express consignment operation environments, as well as the main source for all fentanyl-related substances trafficked into the United States. So to me, this is war. We are at war with China. This is meant to kill people. This is destroying our country, and it's killing people, right? If you're a drug dealer, you want your customers to come back. You don't want to kill them. So anyone creating something that can kill you that instantly, that all you have to do is touch it and you can go into an overdose, is trying to kill people. So we are at war with China. If you don't already know, they have been attacking us in many ways. Economically, technologically, and through our society, through social, whatever you call it, mainstream, contemporary, whatever, all of it. They're influencing all of our society, everything negatively. They own TikTok. TikTok is the worst thing. All of them are bad, but TikTok is the worst. They're destroying our country. So we better wake up. A lot is going on. People are wondering, is Yonkers really safe? And Ruros had a discussion with Anthony Moranti about this. Anthony Moranti believes that the statistics are wrong. Ruros says, well, the police and the mayor says Yonkers is the safest big city, but we have a lot of issues that he himself covers. along with the many fentanyl overdoses that we have seen here from people being found dead in the parking lot of ShopRite, in the ATM little vestibule of the Wells Fargo and Getty Square, which is why they keep it locked now. You can't even go to the ATM until they open. To just being found in the street dead. People are dying of drug overdoses, specifically fentanyl, but there are other issues going on. Shots fired on Palisade. Car hit August 27th. And I'm going to go backwards here. Man was found deceased, 8/26. Look, he's right in front of the home. Ruros, if you had come to my house when my sister passed away of an overdose to film it, I would have shoved that camera down your throat. I don't care if I would have went to jail. I don't. I would have shoved that camera down your throat. You should never do that. You're lucky that they don't have someone like me living there or in their family. 8/24/2023. Multiple people stabbed, slashed in Getty Square. 8/23/23, same day. High-speed chase ends with a crash. 8/22, the day before, man shot on both legs and slow bombs. 8/21, man down on Oliver Park. 8/21, shots fired on Morris and Riverdale. 8/21, shots fired on Delano Ave. Man shot, I should say, on Delano Ave. 8/15, shots fired on Warburton. People are committing suicide also. Female jumper at 45 South Broadway. Right there in front of City Hall. In front of City Hall. 7:30, shots fired after domestic incident. 7:28, man shot on Highland. Man shot at Shell gas station, 7:20. Ruros had him all in his video, laid out on the floor. Another man falling to his death, 7:17, man falls to his death. Probably the drugs. It's probably the drugs. And then he wasn't around. He was on vacation, so he missed a lot of stuff. But July 2nd, man stabbed multiple times at Lincoln Park. Many accidents. June 20th, man shot, 86 Hamilton. Multiple accidents. June 15th, shots fired on Park in Ashburton. Was there a month and more crashes. Road rage on South Broadway. Did you see that video? Man starts beating another man over the head with something. More crash. Police activity. Female lost control of the vehicle and hits and kills pedestrian, June 11th. Unbelievable. Female teenager assaulted on Ashburn and North Broadway, June 2nd. Shots fired on Riverdale, June 4th. YPD activity, May 31st. Multiple shots on Morris and Hamilton, May 31st. Multiple shots fired on Elm, May 29th. Collisions and shots. Collisions, shall I go on? Emotionally disturbed man on the balcony ready to jump off. And me, this guy loves to have me. Who am I? I am not that important, Mr. Rue. I am not this important. Freddie Vasquez impounded for fake New York State plates. Folks, when did this happen? When did my car get impounded for having fake New York State plates? Did I miss this? I really have a doppelganger. It is true. I've never had that happen, folks. I promise you that. I've never had fake plates in my life. Never. I've had custom plates, which I've had to take off because of stalkers. Man stabbed inside 345 Nepperham, May 15th. Shots fired on Elliott, May 10th. Yonkers police officer fires weapon at fleeing suspect, May 12th. Shots fired and man hit on Livingston, May 13th. And so on and so forth. So crime, I don't know if it's down. What do you guys think, folks? I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. I just wanted to go over that. I mean, look, Ruros has them all. He has it all there. So if you want to know exactly what's going on, is crime down? Is there a lot of accidents here in the city of Yonkers? Go on Yonkers Voices website or whatever, his YouTube page, and just count for yourself. I think every month that we've gone down through since August down to I think I got to May, there were at least 2 or more shootings and a stabbing or 2. So, I mean, I'm Freddie Vasquez, Basement Politics. You know what I don't like about this guy? Go check out the Anthony Moranti interview. He tries to create a narrative. You're the interviewer. You're supposed to be, unbiased. You're not supposed to try and create a narrative. And then he's like almost debates and challenges Moranti. And I've seen him do this with other candidates, unless it's the candidates that pay him, right? The ones that constantly promote him. And I'm not trying to talk bad about it, but I'm just saying, that's not okay because people don't get a real feel for what's happening. You know what I'm saying? They don't, you know what I mean? You're covering all this stuff, but then you're saying that, oh, everything is good. You know what I'm saying? What do you mean? What are you saying? Right? Trying to make him look like he's not. Moranti doesn't know what he's talking about, right? And that's what I mean. It's not okay. That's not journalism. But when you get people like Shanae on there, you don't challenge her. You don't ask her about the homelessness and about the regentrification of her entire district. And are you going to ask her these questions if she goes up to the county, if Debbie Kozak doesn't beat her and she becomes, District 16 legislator, are you going to then hold her feet to the fire about all the homeless people that we have here in the city? I hope so, because I am. Let's see what she does, because she definitely got on Chris Johnson for it. Now, here you go. You're up to bat. Let's see what you're going to do against these curveballs. I'm Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. Have a beautiful night. Peace out. Be blessed and be careful out there. Kids, stay off the streets. Get to know Freddie Vasquez, Little Prodigies, the Owl Club. We're going to be coming to you guys live and direct. I'm going to be out there. Parents, make sure you check us out. It's going to be a positive place for your kids to come to. Stay out of the, negative stuff, away from that stuff. If you're not going to be home to a certain time, I get it. I was a latchkey kid. We're here. Little Prodigies, Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics. Have a beautiful and blessed.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were.
Freddie wins.
I am Freddie Vasquez. This is Basement Politics Unfiltered. I like to think that I'm the people's advocate. I'm here for the folks, so please email me with your information, your concerns, and hopefully now that I'll be settled in, there's a lot of transitioning going on in the past couple months, a little hectic for me. I'll be able to be a little more focused with some of the things that people have reached out to me about. So, but anyway, continue to communicate with me. Reach out to me, politicwithfred@gmail.com. That's politicwithfred@gmail.com. Reach out to me. I am the people's advocate. I will come see if I can help. If I can't do it, no one can. No, I'm just kidding. But reach out, see what we can do. And if you have information that you think is important that needs to be put out there, let me know. If you see something that needs to be taken care of out in the community, let me know, especially if you haven't gotten a response from some of our elected officials. Let me know. Just email me, message me. I'm Freddie Vasquez. Be blessed, be well, take care. Shout out to all the Yonkers Public School students. Y'all ready? Orientation was fun. I love that stuff. Peace out, folks.
Freddie wins.
I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I was raised in housing. I don't think you were. I want